Hello! It's summertime here in Bozeman, Montana.
Top of the morning to ya.
We're the Gear and Beer Show from Music Villa.
He's Blaze.
Hi, I'm I'm not Joe. That's Joe. If I was Joe, I'd have a rash right here that I can't get rid of. Anyway,
stack of bills.
Yeah, I'd be rolling with ladies. Old ladies. So how you doing, Joe?
I'm pretty good. I'm a little tired. I've been gigging and going hard this week.
Good. You had a lot of gigs. This week was very musical for you.
Musical.
And I saw, on your Facebook, you were hiking.
Been hiking a lot.
Enjoying the mountains here in Montana.
Been on some nice ones.
So it's nice not having a day job, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, that's good. And you're doing well. You're supporting. Joe is doing a lot of gigs and making a living off doing gigs now.
Hiking's an almost free activity. Almost free.
Right.
So that helps.
Yeah. No, it's a lovely activity. And we're all trying to do more of it.
But I have been gigging heavily, and it's been nice. And I'm really grateful to everyone who's booking me.
Yeah,
thank you guys.
Go see Joe out there, people.
I'm playing a lot.
Yes, so we're we're the Gear and Beer Show. We have guests. In case you haven't seen us before, we're huge. We're really huge
in our own minds
on the dark web. But we have guests, usually local guests, but lately we're on a run of getting some high-profile guests, and we may have one today. So and we talk about their gear. We talk about them, who they are, get to know them, how they're doing their musical life.
Happen to see this show, and you are a traveling musician, hit us up. Come be on the show. We love that. Yeah, we love that. And also, and subscribe, people, because we get a certain amount of subscribers. We are giving away one of those John Mayer Silver
Sky things. I've been watching some of the tour on YouTube with him with the Dead and Company. It sounds very nice.
He played Wolf the other night? Did you see that?
I was just going to say, I just watched it last night. Yes.
And that set list was amazing.
I'm like, he was playing, and I saw Morning Dew.
They played, that was such
the
a
whole
good list.
band had the vibe.
Oh, that was a...
And people are going to argue. They always say, oh, well, then John Mayer does his thing. Then it sounds John Mayer-y. Which is really just like he's thrown in blues, Clapton, Stevie Ray Vaughan vibe.
He's incredible in that gig.
What do you want him to do? He's got to do his thing, too. But he was really, I think he was honoring that guitar and everyone. And Bob Weir sang Morning Dew awesome, too. The keyboard player was killer. Who's the keyboard player?
Bob's killing it right now.
Is that?
Jeff Clemente.
Yeah, he was doing it up. He's great. He's been with him for a while.
Yep.
And so, anyway, very cool. So, good job, John.
Yeah.
Come on our show. We'll kiss your ass some more.
I enjoyed him at the Gorge. It sounded very, very good.
Yeah, you saw him at the Gorge. Yeah, no, it was really cool. It was really neat to see him play that guitar. Right away, I was like, And then it was pretty sweet. The atmosphere of that song, Morning Dew, is awesome. That
group has good chemistry. Like you can tell
they're doing it up.
They enjoy hanging out together. They enjoy playing together.
It's been a fun tour to kind of peek into on the Nugs thing. They play a song or two.
And I feel that, I think John, from my observation has been that he's super respectful about filling those shoes, and he takes it very seriously, and he's trying to do it the most justice he can.
Yeah, and he does. And he'll throw his little vibe in too, and that's fine, because it's his vibe. If they start walking him out and putting sunglasses on and awkward shorts and a black T-shirt, that's not going to be right. He's got his own awkward clothing.
Bobby made a post. I've been following Bobby on Instagram. We're getting a Grateful Dead vibe. He alluded to shorts. He made some posts like, "Summer's here, time to get the shorts out."
Oh, short shorts, Bobby. Damn it.
Pretty awesome.
They're back.
I say no shorts at gigs.
Yeah, I know. I did that too. After watching myself on stage and be like, "Oh yeah, pants now." So anyway, so we came into the studio today, and there's all these lovely acoustic instruments.
Yep.
We usually feature a lot of electric stuff here, but we have a wonderful guest, Tony Furtado, and he went out to get coffee.
He showed up early and
set up stuff.
Actually worked when Blaze and I were just being whatever lazy morning people. So
we restrung all his guitars with silk and steel.
So we showed up and all these sweet instruments, right? No beer.
Yeah,
so
it was kind of I was worried. I'm getting worried. And then, what do we do?
Usually, the cars parked behind the stores, probably someone who works here, or who we know, we feel okay kind of opening those cars, rooting through them a little bit.
Yeah.
So we started rooting through
we went through all the cars.
Some cars in the
and we found a lot of beer. It turns out musicians like to drink.
We found a bunch of Colorado beer in one particular car.
Yeah.
So it was exciting for us. It's like
you got to look at you got the mother load. You got a whole bunch of them here. This is great.
I like a nice room temp beer on a hot day.
It's about 100 degrees, but I think it's gonna be fine. So anyway, we have beer now, so we're ready.
Yeah. Morning's shaping up.
So now we're hey, who is it?
Must be Tony.
Hey, it's Tony Furtado.
Hey.
World famous touring musician Tony Furtado. Welcome.
Thank you.
Come on in, have my seat.
I will take your seat.
That's Joe.
You know, I was going to bring you guys some beer, but I went out to the tour van and I had some stash from Colorado, but it was gone.
Oh, that was your car.
Nice. we brought these from our car.
It all comes full circle. Thank you, Tony.
Oh, thanks, Tony. Didn't know that.
Blaze took a couple other just
so hot.
Yeah, it's very warm. Yeah. It's like as if someone was sitting on it the whole drive. I'm going to crack one open here. What am I going to have? Okay, amber or a porter?
I'm going to have this Brad
Dustin,
lager.
do you want one? What are you going to have? You want a lager?
Yeah.
Okay, come on in. Woo! Get it while it's hot! Yeah, I don't know. So you played at this place?
I think I did years ago.
Yeah. Is it all blur now? Are you touring all the time? Are you just touring all the time?
No, I don't tour nearly as much as I used to. It used to be like, 2/3 of the year I'd be gone back a long time ago.
How many dates do you reckon you were playing in those
back then?
Heavy
most
years?
of those days were gigs. So
a couple hundred in a year?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, maybe. But that's, you're talking 15, 20 years ago.
You've been at it a long time.
Yeah.
Now lately it's a lot less. I might do 100 dates a year. Still a lot. But
I remember when I heard about you. The sky opened up, and a pigeon shat on my head. No, and then your banjo playing came through. No, I remember. So, we want to get to know you, Tony.
All right.
Damn it, and we're going to talk about your instruments. Yeah. Is that cool? Now, you're playing in the area, and you're gracious enough to stop by through our place, and you're on your way to Billings tonight.
I love coming through here.
Yeah, and we've seen you over and over here.
Yeah.
I think we actually went to. You accompanied me to some kind of art show thing a bunch of years ago. My buddies had They had the art walk and they had a thing going. And you came along, and that was fun. It seemed like you had a good time, and I was happy.
I do sculpture work myself, and whenever I'm in a town that has a good art scene, I always love checking out the local scene.
It was cool, and they did a lot of work. There was some funky stuff there, woodworking and all that.
Yeah, I remember that.
What kind of sculpture stuff do you do?
It's kind of it's basically ceramic sculpture, but a lot of my stuff I'll modify in weird ways. I might use some metal coated wood, or I usually coat my pieces with a metal coating. Hard to explain, but there's a lot of metal dust in there, and I oxidize it so it looks like bronze.
Oh, cool. Are you recreating Stephen King scenes of his books and movies?
Sometimes it seems like that.
Yeah. People have to have a theme. There's a thing here where it's all like hot women fishing and stuff. And it's like a bronze thing, which is awesome.
I've got, for some reason, there's a lot of rabbits in my sculptures.
All right.
Whoa.
Over the years.
Did you have a rabbit as a child?
No, but my best friend had neighbors that had rabbits in pens for food, and I remember I was 5 years old, and
you freed them all.
But I wanted to.
You recreated Watership Down. Threw them at each other.
No, they were going to slaughter one of them, and I said, "You can't kill the rabbit."
No,
and they said,
"Kill the rabbit."
Yeah, exactly. They said, "Go get us $5. You could save the rabbit's life." So I ran home, begged my parents for $5. Finally got $5. Got back, and they were already cutting it up.
Oh no!
Oh man!
So I think now when I sculpt rabbits, I sculpt them like muscular and like with claws and spikes on their backs.
They're fighting back, bitches. Watch out! They go kung fu rabbits. Now, where are you from?
Pleasanton, California is where I grew up. Bay Area guy.
Okay,
but
cool.
I moved to D.C. for a minute in the early 90s, moved back to California, moved out to Colorado for a while, and then to Portland, Oregon. I tried L.A. for a minute. I did not like it,
so much.
I came back up.
Okay. You're digging Portland?
Oh, yeah, I love Portland.
I mean, it's been a long time now. You've been in Portland.
17 years.
So that's been home base for a minute.
Yeah.
Love it there.
So
Portland feels like home.
Obviously.
It's good to have the home base, especially when you're moving and grooving all the time.
And right? I married a Portland native, Stephanie Schneiderman, who's a wonderful singer-songwriter.
Nice.
And we have a little boy named Liam. And
Beautiful.
I am well-rooted in Portland. I love it.
Nice.
Are your bandmates on this tour Portland guys? Or are they cool? Sweet.
Yeah, well, one of them actually is originally from Billings.
Oh, wow.
But he's been in Portland a long time now.
Nice.
Keith Brush. Yeah.
How long are you out for right now in this run? Like a couple weekends? Or?
Yeah, exactly. A couple weekends, so it's about a 12-day run.
Yeah.
Cool.
It seems to be the modern, the growing up, the adult way to tour.
Yeah, that's about as long as I like to keep it.
Yeah.
I was just out in May.
Hit a little circuit for 10 days, right?
Yeah, not too bad.
Right. How old's your son?
He's 6.5.
Nice.
Yes, you want to get back home and hang with him too, right?
Exactly.
Do little things. Yeah. I got a 7 and a 4-year-old in there now. Hopefully,
oh man,
they don't run in here and say, "Hey, I got to take a poop."
It's got to be fun
my
for
sister's
you,
hitting me.
Touring with a full band, because I mean, in the past I've mostly seen you solo, or you sometimes pick up. If you know people all over the country, you pick up players sometimes for a gig.
Exactly.
Right?
Sometimes I'll do that, and the past year it's been kind of nice to be able to say, okay, this little run I'm going to do as a quartet, or this one as a trio. Because lately, usually I'll go out as a duo with a fiddle player named Luke Price, and he's out with me on this tour too.
Nice.
And he's just a wonderful fiddle player, guitar player, singer, and he and his wife have a band called Dean. So we'll go out duo, but then when I get the full band, it's almost like, everything I do, but like with muscles, It's fun.
That's fun. That's cool. Now, I remember you. So what got you into? You started out on banjo, and then you got into. Then later, I noticed you were playing more slide guitar in your shows, right? So, which is very cool because I enjoy both of those instruments. But what got you into banjo? What got you into slide? How did that all happen?
I'll try to keep it brief, but I started.
We're getting personal.
Yeah. I started on banjo because when I was a kid, 11 years old, we in 6th grade you had to do a report on a musical instrument, and you had to make the instrument out of household items. And I was making a lot of balsa wood airplanes at the time, with the stretched paper.
Oh yeah.
So I took a pie tin, put some stretched paper on that, a stick, rubber bands for frets, nylon fishing string, tuned all the strings to one note because I didn't know, and I made a banjo.
Sweet.
And I did the report on the banjo, found it came from Africa and had this really rich history of playing all these different types of music that I didn't know what they were. Celtic music, I didn't know what that was.
Bunch of gingers.
Bluegrass, I didn't know what bluegrass was too. So I started lessons on that and sunk my teeth right in, just, practice.
Right
Then
away on a 5-string banjo.
Yeah. All my teachers kind of set me on different paths. Some of them were more open-minded, saying, hey, check out this guy named John McEwen, or check out the Eagles have a banjo player too.
Nice.
And then, one might be more traditional and say, you got to learn this Scruggs tune.
Scruggs style.
I was gonna say, did you start learning those Scruggs rolls?
Yeah,
right away?
yeah. And then there was another teacher that helped me get into like bebop and studying classical theory and stuff. So it all kind of worked.
Yeah.
And then
theory on the banjo.
It works. It's good. Then I recorded a few albums for Rounder. Skip forward to the future a little bit. Recorded a few albums that were banjo based. Something was missing. I was in Sugar Beat, band that I toured with for a little while with Matt Flinner. And
I remember that. He's a mandolin player.
Yeah.
Ripping mandolin player.
Fun band. And then that broke up. I needed to do something different. I discovered Ray Cooter and David Lindley. Took a couple years to woodshed.
That's what I wanted to ask you a little bit is about tunings. Like you've been working with all kinds of open tunings for a real long time.
Yeah.
Can you just talk a little bit about like your approach? You're right. Obviously, you're writing in tunings. What kind of inspires a given tuning?
Well, on the guitar, what got me into different tunings was playing slide, because that's what I was going for at first. And so I was checking out the different tunings that slide players were using, like Rye. It sounded like he was mostly doing open D tuning, but he was also doing open G tuning.
Sure.
And so I was experimenting with those early on. And then I heard a tuning that David Lindley was doing where it was an open C tuning, where the third is on the top, on the high string. And then it just was like, from that point on, just like root 5, root 5, root 5 all the way down.
Oh.
So it's a big, wide open tuning, and I had already been doing that tuning on the banjo.
Yeah.
So I was relating everything to the way I played banjo anyway.
So you had the shapes and the things worked out early, so it was pretty natural.
Kind of, but it took a minute just to get used to having all those strings. Like open D tuning to me, I started by relating to it like the first 4 strings are like a tuning I use on the banjo. The middle 4 strings, same thing. And the bottom 4 strings, same thing. But then it took a minute to like get it all to be cohesive, and like now I'm thinking in a guitar term.
Sure.
Right, expanding it all around.
Yeah, exactly.
Using all the strings.
Mm-hmm.
That's I do a old-timey banjo and do double C tuning or double D.
Mountain mining.
Yeah. Well, the double C tuning, it was really cool to find out that like, oh shoot, that's like a Rain Song is in that. Like you're like start to discover like, well, Jimmy Page did that tuning on the guitar and so which you found out with that stuff too with Lindley. It's like that's a neat tuning, and on a guitar it's really cool. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of neat how that both those worlds connected that way.
Portland has a good old timey music scene. Has for a long time. Did you ever? Did you side more as a bluegrass guy, or just your own thing, or did you have a period where you kind of went into old time? I mean, I know. You draw from all of it, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I know a lot of players in all the different genres that are there, and there's a lot of crossover in Portland too. When I first moved there, I was just trying to connect with everyone. You know, definitely with the rootsy players. I was going to the Irish music jam sessions and picking tunes, and even playing with some of the jazz musicians because I was hiring jazz musicians when I first moved to town just to back me up on gigs. So.
Yeah. Cool.
Right, you're doing some crazy stuff on the banjo there.
Well, I find that
you were kind of like the young energy of a banjo. I mean, Bell Fleck as well, and I remember that was exciting to see you play it too.
Were you doing your first real writing, serious songwriting? Was that all happening on a banjo?
I was writing instrumentals on the banjo ever since I was a teenager, and then when I started playing slide guitar, I was writing instrumentals on that. Songwriting, like lyric songwriting, came shortly after that, and I think once I moved to Portland, that became more of my focus, was writing vocal songs.
And then did you kind of guitar must have crept in a lot more when you were doing that?
It did until the past few years when I got this thing that's hanging up, this cello banjo.
We got to talk about that
thing.
Yeah.
Thing's huge. It's like a pizza.
Yeah, I mean,
you put a pizza on there.
That thing is a lot easier.
Yeah, let's get in on some of these things and examples.
So is that a low C?
Yeah, I've got it tuned to open C. Sometimes I put it way down to open A even.
Wow.
Because it can take it. It's basically like having
gut strings.
It's classical guitar strings.
Okay. Right on.
That sounds cool.
That's that gutty sound. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
That's killer.
Yeah.
How big's the head on that thing?
It's I don't know. I think it's what is that? 12 inches?
That's like a
14. Maybe?
14. That's like a snare drum right there. That's a snare drum.
Yeah, it is.
My God.
Yeah.
Very
What
cool.
kind of pickups do you like on this?
This has got a K&K in it. But my favorite pickup that I've got for banjo is I've got it on my other banjo, which is
we'll talk.
Yeah,
we'll
that's
get that going.
And what I'm hoping to get made for this is a pickup that's on that. I'll talk about that.
Okay, yeah.
But right now it's a K&K, and it's
cool.
Nice and thumpy.
Passive pickups with a preamp, with an
Yeah,
external preamp.
yeah. I use a preamp system. Yeah.
So this has been inspiring you.
Yeah.
To do a whole new instrument.
You show up with multiple preamps for all these instruments, so they can kind of set like.
Lately I've just been going straight into a Sunrise preamp because the guitar has 2 pickups in it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I come out of that little black box into a little line mixer thing, pedal thing, that I can control the volume on each of those pickups. And then I go into another preamp, which is a Grace preamp called Bix, B-I-X. And it's the smaller version of what they do. I used to have a Felix, but it got stolen.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's a drag.
So, and then I just run everything through that same system, and usually it's okay. I'd like to have 2 separate systems, banjo and guitar, but right now that's what I'm doing.
Cool. I've been wanting to try that little Bix preamp.
Let's hear something from there.
Yeah? Play a little something?
Yeah, let's get a little sound of that.
You guys were asking about singing with an instrument too. I'll do a little bit of a song that I sing with this.
Awesome.
Because I do write vocal songs on this lately too, because I like the way it sounds and feels. Tolling laws crack my shell. Don't waste your hammer on a broken bell. A broken bell, don't waste your hammer on a broken bell. Shadows rise when they hear the call. Shine the light and you watch them fall. You watch them fall with the coming day. Shine the light and they fade away. Well, I let you in to see inside. You will never change my mind. You will never change my mind. Copper and tin for shiny skin. A shiny skin shimmering new, copper and tin to ring it true. Well, I let you in, see inside. You will never change my mind. You will never change my mind.
Sounds also very
that thing
cool.
Really barks.
It's a cool instrument. I love it.
That was all about that freaking bunny, wasn't it?
Pretty much.
I knew it. If you really look into all his lyrics, there's something about that damn bunny. He was a child.
You could tie him to Cuddles a little bit, Blaze.
Yeah, I had a thing with a ferret. I have a whole story that I talk about with my ferret Cuddles, how he died. And
you know that
tried to bury him, but he froze to the ground
blues.
instead. So we just jumped over him, playing and stuff.
Good art comes
watch
from
him
a little
decompose.
pain. You know, that's Blaze.
Yeah.
You know, he goes back in his mind. When he needs to really feel it, he thinks about Cuddles.
Bunnies, ferrets.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's disturbing. Yeah, I know. That sounds awesome. So that's very cool.
That is a great sounding instrument.
Yeah, and I could
cool.
see, nice and low, and it, boy, it really goes well with it, kind of almost meshing the vibe of the guitar and the banjo.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was, I tried to sing while playing regular banjo before, and it wasn't connecting as well. With this, I simplify my style a little bit, and I could get the low end that I could put my high voice on top of.
So what are your strings tuned to going down? Yeah.
Well, this one is right now it's in open C. So the high string is a C, the low string's a C, then you got a G, a C, and a E. Great. It's kind of like that open C tuning on guitar.
Yeah, sweet.
You know?
Right.
So you get these really nice voicings.
Cool. Yeah, beautiful.
Very cool. Well, let's talk about your guitar. Sure. Or maybe, let's do guitar and then banjo. How's that?
You got it.
Should we kind of switch it up?
Here.
Yeah, I can.
You got her, Blaze?
Maybe do that.
That should work.
Or actually, I might do that here, so when you put the guitar back, it's just right there. Boom. So this thing's sweet. Now tell us about this, or the audience.
Well, I got this at a music store in Salt Lake City about 23 years ago, and it was nearly mint condition when I got it.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you destroyed it.
I've destroyed it.
0017?
Yeah, there was even, it's an 017.
017, okay.
Yeah, 1944.
Nice. Neat.
And, I mean, you can see what I've done here, too, with the tuners.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Oh, look at that.
It's over the years.
You're using that thing. This is your own.
I've got this one. About the same time, I also got a 1930 slot head, and 12 fret, longer body.
Right.
That one sits at home now, but I used to have both of them on the road. And there was a point where I thought, I should just keep them at home, safe, and get these other
Vintage
newer
instruments.
ones. I got new Martins back then. I tried it out, same pickup system, and it didn't work for me.
Wow.
I needed the old ones because that's what I was
very
used
opened
to.
Up.
Yeah,
you get more ring.
Yeah, and so this has always been my road guitar, and always will be.
Yeah.
On this small body guitar, you're slacking strings here and there. Are you doing mediums or lights on this thing? Because it's weird to do
guess it's
mediums.
It's kind
or
of
do you have
medium.
a hybrid thing, your own thing?
Well, I swap out the first string for 15.
Whoa.
What I tend to use is D'Addario. It's like the EJ17.
17.
17.
Yep. The
So
red,
that's the mediums.
the red pad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
sometimes
medium.
I'll do the flat ones.
Okay.
But
okay.
I swap out the first string for a 15, so it's
Right.
a little heavier
A little
because
heavier for the
I've
slide.
always got this.
So what
Tuned
tunings
down.
are you typically, is that guitar living?
This is in open D,
Do you,
so
do you leave it there, or are you
Pretty
going
much.
G and
Is that
D
your
back?
default?
oh well,
on
no. The other tuning I use is just standard, but that's mostly for songy songs that I'll do. Maybe a couple in a set.
I love the
or
D,
something.
man.
You
I
dig
love the
more D
droning
than
of
G?
the D tuning.
I like D more than G. I
I'll
haven't used G
fluctuate.
for
I go
ages.
back. Yeah, D is awesome. It's just
Yeah.
got that ring. Yeah.
It does. It has that.
But boy,
yeah.
G is really freaking cool too. Like I started trying to mess with Hawaiian guitar a little bit.
Right.
And I was like, oh great, this is
Open
Tyro
G.
Patch. This is the same
Yeah.
thing as Open G, so we can do slide and do that. And
Yeah.
there's and just I don't know, there's neat stuff with that too. But yeah, the D's got this lower ring.
Yeah.
Do you keep the action up for slide? You kind
I don't. I think just naturally, it's not the action on this is not high. When I bought it, I had the neck reset.
and you must have refretted that. guy a couple
Yeah, it's been
times.
refretted a couple times, but it doesn't need it as often as other guitar players would need it because I'm
Sliding.
doing a lot of slide.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'll just do a little bluesy something or another here.
Love that.
Yeah.
Nice. I could hear that all day long, drinking beer, watching bunnies play in the distance.
Nice.
That sounds great.
Does.
Now, you're inspiring me to. I gotta try picks.
Yeah,
I go back and forth. I'm not sure. Picks.
When I
sounds so
play
good.
electric slide, I like to just use the thumb pick. But with the acoustic, I can dig in more.
Yeah,
just because
yeah,
I'm
get way
going
more tone out
banjo
of
to
it.
guitar, and it's like I'm used to having the pick.
Right,
Yeah.
and you get just so much tone and volume out of that thing.
Yeah.
Now, tell us about your slide. Are you making that yourself? Are you
Yeah.
getting that somewhere?
Yeah, I used to sell these. In fact, the first time I sold these, I was on tour opening for Greg Allman for about a
Nice.
month.
I
And-
never heard of that guy.
And so I figured if anyone's going to buy them, they're going to be fans of Greg Allman.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
I made 10 of them and sold them all at the first show. And then so
Yeah.
every show from that point on, I had to go out and scour bars and like say, "You got
Get some
any empty
glass."
wine bottles?"
Sure.
And so I'd make them in my dressing room before every show. and sell 'em at the
Nice.
show.
Wow.
That's
really cool.
That's grassroots swag right there.
That's
That's
cool.
awesome.
So, have you always been a pinky slide guy?
Yeah, I saw a picture of Ry Cooder doing that with his
Yes.
pinky, and it made sense to me because then I can fret like this and
Totally.
do that.
Yeah, you see like Dwayne Allman and Derek Trucks, they got this, and that's where I started. But after Ry Cooder and
Yeah.
this guy, this other guy I was watching, Sonny Landreth too, I think,
Mm-hmm.
Pinky, and
Can
it
you
just
give
frees
any,
it up. It's like bam.
Any pointers? Any anything for folks like
Yeah.
I'm kind of selfishly asking this because I want to be a pinky slide guy.
Mm-hmm.
I find it harder.
Never happen.
It's a little more difficult to mute behind the bar with the pinky.
Well, for me, I mean, I always make sure when I'm teaching someone is like you want to be able to control that. Like if you're gonna, sometimes you want that to ring, or you don't. So you want to be able to do both, you know. And I just use it's almost like a paddle back there, you
Pretty
know. It's
straight
just
up and down.
Yeah, and you want to and I also make sure people know that you don't want to, if you're just going for a note on the first string, you don't have the whole thing over here.
Sure.
You'd be a little more surgical with it.
Yep.
Right.
That way you're just going across all the strings.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway.
Sweet.
No, that's cool, man. I love that shit.
I do too, man.
Yeah, because you see like people like Roy Rogers, or like he's got a pick and he's like all over the place. He's an example of almost the opposite of damping and all that, which he's great. So anyway, what go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna ask, how about like I love open tunings. I'm a novice with open tunings, but I like them, and I've been using D quite like more.
Yeah,
but
that's awesome.
What helped you break out of just 1-4-5? You know, because you learn the 1-4-5, and it's so easy to just fall back on that in an open tuning.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Sure.
So what helped you to get more interest in chord voicings, and did you just doing it forever?
That's a good question. I mean, I had already done that kind of thing with the banjo, and so I was transferring some of that knowledge.
Like, are you thinking
theory.
Diatonically?
Sometimes.
In open tuning?
Yeah. I mean, there's been times also where I've had to play, you know, like a song in A, but in D tuning.
Yeah.
Or, you know, if I'm, sometimes if I'm backing my wife Stephanie, if I'm doing some of her songs on electric slide, I'll try not to use a capo. And so I can get down to some of the lower. So, you know, she might be doing a song in A minor, but I'm going to keep it in open D, or G, you know, in open D, and just like get around
notes.
That's cool.
It makes me play less, which is good. You know, and I just focus on ambient sounds or just simple little melodies.
And being conscious of whether you can or can't use the open strings.
Yeah, I mean, because one problem that it's not necessarily a problem, but one thing I'm used to doing is, you know, keeping the bass line going when I'm playing guitar.
Yep.
Well, that's a case where I don't need to do that, you know, or if I'm playing with a full band, that's already I can be more free, you know.
Right, more space.
Yeah.
I always find with finger picking, I love finger picking, but it's really easy to get stuck in that rhythm.
I know, yeah.
Boom chick.
Yeah, and the one other thing that was good about starting on banjo is my thumb is a little freer than a lot of guitar players' thumbs might be, because I use it a lot, like just going all over the place for grabbing melodies, you know. There's a...
Nice.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's all a lot of this.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's weird because when you're first learning finger picking, it's like I got to get that down, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, okay, I need to mix that up and shit.
And then you get stuck. And you have an hour of material that's that rhythm.
Yeah, I was thinking around with I think it was Tom Feldman, a teacher, slide teacher, whatever, and he's got videos, but he did a Muddy Waters slide, and that really kind of actually just a little hidden. But he did a lot of thumb.
Yeah.
So like, a lot of his lines were thumb stuff, and I think that might free it up. That to me gave it a little, and there was space all within it, but it was still like this finger style slide thing. Yeah. So that's a good.
Sweet.
Act now, get your copy of the Muddy Waters.
So many different takes on it.
But to me that was a neat thing. If you did that and then fused everything, boy, it'll really ring out.
Yeah. Who were some players that inspired you when you were learning that style, that finger picking with the slide style?
Oh well, obviously Ry Cooder, but also like Mississippi John Hurt, Mississippi Fred McDowell, all the Mississippis. Yeah. Taj Mahal, you know,
great.
Like I said before, David Lindley. You know, it's the whole
Davis,
finger style.
Taj Mahal, yeah,
and an old friend, Kelly Joe Phelps.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah. You don't see him out there anymore. Really.
He's incredible.
I'm hoping he'll come.
Is he not playing out much, or what's going on?
I don't think he's playing out right.
He's just chilling.
Yeah,
okay,
just chilling.
But
we just had Martha Scanlon in the shop the other day. And we were chatting with her, and she brought up we should have her on the show. She's in Missoula. Yeah. She lives in Missoula, Montana.
Yeah,
but she was talking about Kelly Joe Phelps too, and just how he's a wonderful player in person. So that's right, because you did some project with him
early
on, right?
Yeah,
I think I remember that. Yeah, that was very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So what do we got here? We got a Prucha banjo?
Yeah, it's a Prucha banjo. I got this a number of years ago, like about 4 or 5 years ago.
Where'd you get this sucker?
Straight from the maker.
Name of the dude? Okay.
Yeah. And
the source.
he's got my Gibson. He's gonna fix it someday. But I sure love this.
I've heard a lot of wonderful things about these guys.
He's just doing some wonderful work with banjos and just beautiful sounding things. I only have this tape on it to deaden the tailpiece. I do that with my banjos just because it's got this pickup that was made by Larry Fishman. It was a one-of-a-kind thing. It's the prototype.
Neat.
And it's got a little preamp on the inside. It's like my favorite banjo pickup.
Nice.
I wish that it went into production, but they never did.
So like Larry Fishman of Fishman Pickups.
Fishman.
And they never brought that out as a regular thing.
No.
Hey, Larry, you guys need to listen to this over there in Boston or wherever you are. Get this sucker out. Everyone's always looking for a perfect pickup for banjo, and it's tough.
It's been my pickup for 20 years.
Wow.
And
Dang.
and I get a lot of comments. It's like, what is that? Because it doesn't feed back. I do this, and it's usually totally fine. It gets like enough of the lows and the highs, and it's punchy.
Did you ever have a period in your career where you were doing the old school mic, condenser mic, standing around, or have you always gone?
No.
Yeah, I like the freedom of a pickup too.
Yeah,
Just to get
years
volume,
ago
yeah.
when I played more in a bluegrass band setting, we would go into individual mics, 57s and whatever.
It's so tricky, on different stages, and it's so scary having a condenser up there for certain environments.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I love this banjo, this Prucha, just mainly because it's got a round tone and goes. I've got 2 extra frets.
And it
intonates.
It actually sounds pretty in tune up the neck.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Let's hear just a quick little thing
You
on
got
that
it.
thing.
Let's do a couple snippets here.
That's a good sound banjo.
But that thing sounded. That thing sounds awesome.
That's a beautiful sound instrument.
Yeah. Every tone it really rings out.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
How often in the Portland area? How often do you get hit up to do company gigs, to do studio work? Do you have people? You certainly must have people going, "Oh, it'd be cool to have Tony sound."
Bar mitzvah.
Every once in a while, actually, every once in a while.
Do you enjoy doing that?
I do. I mean, I don't really put it out there so much because a lot of times when I'm off the road, I've got my artwork that I do at home and raising a kid, and then I'm on the road. Sure. So when I put it out there, sometimes I'll get a gig here or there as a sideman, but it doesn't. Not so much.
You don't have a lot of time for that.
Yeah,
it sounds like.
Well,
that's true.
We're gonna wrap it up, but. We're doing a new thing here, right? Unless you have anything more to say.
One last thing. I just like for 2 seconds, can we just talk about the group you're touring with right now?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
this group of people,
and where we can find you on the internet and all that.
It's a big band. I've never seen you with that large of a group. I don't think.
The
whole
Tony
horn
Furtado
and
big
string
band.
Yeah, string section and horn section.
So what's the instrumentation of this current group?
This tour, I've got Keith Brush on bass, and he's playing electric bass. I got to know him as an acoustic bass player. He does both really wonderfully. He's originally from Billings, and I got to know him from a band he played with called Stolen Sweets, as well as with the Blue Cranes in Portland. Nice. And sometimes he's playing with Curtis Salgado. Solid player.
Yeah.
And then the guy playing fiddle with me is Luke Price. I've mentioned him before, and he's got his band Dean. He's a 3-time national fiddle champion.
Wow.
Just great player.
Only 3 times. Couldn't do
Only
4.
3 times.
Practice a little harder, Keith. Okay, sorry.
The drummer is a
new
new player to me. He's out playing with sometimes with the Shook Twins and Anna Tivol.
Yeah.
Guy named Tyson Stubelic, and so watch out for him. He's a great player, and he's a great Rubik's Cube solver. You can do it in 11 seconds.
Oh my God!
I commend you. I appreciate you touring with a drummer. That's great. I think there's no reason why you shouldn't have drums in acoustic music.
No, it's true.
I have some album or some. I remember either singing on tour or some album of yours where you had like a drummer and a full band, and I thought that's great.
Yeah,
it is great.
It just opens up everything, and it has a full sound.
And it's
nice.
good for players like you, higher profile players to embrace drummers. That makes me happy.
It's important too to find the right drummer that knows that's sensitive to knowing, and having a dynamic range and
Paul Decker is one of those drummers.
I had him play New Year's Eve with me.
He really
is Big Sky.
He really is. He's one of those guys who can
that's cool.
Here's the music. Here's what is going on, and plays the right.
Great drummer.
His drums always sound right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a different
fit it to the gig.
Do
what you got to do.
Yeah.
Those are the guys.
So we like to try to end our show with either an antidote.
Yeah,
someone corrected me on the thing of antidotes.
Yeah, just leave us with a little bit of knowledge, a little story with a message, with a moral, with a something.
Include bunnies or not, it's up to you.
Doesn't have to be deep and
or just
seriously silly, but
advice or a silly story. Yeah,
just impart a little bit of wisdom.
Well,
and knowledge
one thing I like to tell people, like if you're learning an instrument or you're wanting to write songs, is if you can. You want to touch your instrument at least once a day, and do something that feels good and is enjoyable, even if it's for 5 minutes. Don't pick it up thinking, I have to do this or I have to do that. Pick it up thinking, wow, I want to do this and I want to play that. So, that little 5 minutes of wanting to do that and reconnecting with your instrument is going to carry over to the next day when you have more time.
Yeah, just that thought process of, I want to do that rather than I have to do. Yeah. I got to pick up and put some time into it. It's a whole different dynamic.
It's so important to
want
simple but great.
And planting a seed of that raw idea that like you picked up the thing, like you said, 5 minutes can plant a little seed there that will, the next day you pick it up and
it's interesting because sometimes
letting it evolve.
If I'm in the process of trying to write tunes or songs, and if I just don't have time, but I know I've got 5 minutes to pick up an instrument, I'll quickly pick it up and not think. Hit record on my phone, and a germ of an idea will inevitably happen, and then I'll go back to it later on and finish writing a tune.
That's cool.
Do you remember years ago? I don't expect you to remember this, but years ago you were here in the store, and I'm pretty sure I sold you a little uke, like a tenor uke, and you were tuning it like to maybe 2 notes for the fourth, like C's and G's maybe. Or something, or a bunch of. You were like, sometimes I might just do all C's, or you were doing stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe. In that, somewhat connected to that, being like, something will come out of this.
That baritone uke has been responsible for writing like a lot of my songs.
Sweet.
That a lot, and then
remember
sometimes
that?
I do, and I ended up putting it in. What I put it in is an open C tuning most of the time.
Remember there being something with the C.
Same as the cello banjo, and so sometimes when I'm recording, I'll marry the two, one on one side, the other on the other, and those two sounds.
Yeah, sweet.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome. So 2 string, so on the uke, 2 strings tuned to C, and then an E in there.
It's basically just like this, and then that's the tuning I use on the uke.
Sweet.
So
I love that you have your own uke tuning.
It's my old banjo tuning that I came up with when I was a kid.
So cool.
That's neat.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
So you'll get writing credit for all of this. You get a percentage there.
There you go.
Well, thank you, Tony, for being here.
Great to be here.
Tony Furtado, catch him on. You're online.
Yep.
You're on.
I am.
Probably Google search Tony Furtado, right?
Yeah.
Or you got a website, all your tours.
If you can spell my name, you can find me.
Yes. And so you're playing a bunch. You do a little, Pacific Northwest, but do you venture out East Coast or down, all over the place, right?
Yeah,
so check out where he's playing and check him out. It's great.
I'm sure you're hitting some festivals this summer, stuff like
just
that.
A couple. Not a lot of festivals, but definitely doing some touring. So.
Yeah,
cool.
Sweet. Are you going to do a record with this band, with these guys?
Not necessarily. This is mainly doing this tour and maybe another tour. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for my next album, but I'm going to start recording it probably in the fall.
Awesome, nice,
cool.
Look for
that, people.
Yeah.
We're Music Villa.
Gear and Beer
Show. Joe.
Blaze.
Tony Furtado!
Dustin behind the camera.
Thank you all. Check out our website. We got acoustic letter with all the acoustic stuff. We got shopping carts. So come visit us. Okay.
Thanks so much,
everyone.
Tony. Thanks for doing that.
Thanks for coming on in.
Yeah,
appreciate you taking your time for that. And it's a lot of fun. So thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Take care.